A Toronto family is out thousands after they say Air Transat rescheduled their flight home from France to a day earlier without their knowledge.
So we already had spent $3,000 for the return flight with Air Transat to go from Toronto to Paris and back. And then that was gone, and we now have to pay an additional $5,000. It was closer to $5,500 to get ourselves back home.
Nicola Lockwood says she booked return tickets to Paris from June 11th to June 23rd. But as she was trying to check in for the flight home, the system wouldn't let her.
So I called Air Transat, and they said, oh, the flight has been changed to June 22nd, and the flight's already left, and we were a no-show for the flight. So this was quite a shock to me.
Lockwood, along with her husband and 2-year-old son, were left scrambling. She says Air Transat told her they sent her an email about the flight change in December, a few weeks after she booked her tickets.
It was just an email sent, so they couldn't tell on their end whether the email was even opened by me, and I have absolutely no recollection of ever receiving an email like this.
Gabor Lukács with Air Passenger Rights says even if she did see the email, trying to put a passenger on an earlier flight is contrary to air passenger protection regulations, in part because he argues it counts as a flight cancellation.
The airline has to provide alternate transportation. It has to be on the next available flight, later flight, not earlier flight, unless the passenger expressly agrees.
But in a written statement, a spokesperson for Air Transat tells City News in part, according to regulations, moving a flight to an earlier date is permitted. Our obligation is notification and reprotection, which we believe occurred. No compensation is payable if notification is sent over 14 days prior to the impacted flight. Lukács disagrees.
So the passengers are entitled to a reimbursement of their alternate transportation expenses to come back to Canada, for starters.
In addition, he says passengers are also owed €600 per person under the European regulations if the airline does not notify them of a change at least 14 days in advance. He argues that includes the Lockwoods.
I would love for there to be a change in their policy, in their system of how they notify customers about things like this. I think that there should be some sort of button in the email that you have to push to acknowledge or accept the change that's been made to your flight.
We put that suggestion to Air Transat, but they did not address it in their response. Michelle Mackey, City News.